Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something straight up. If you don't get control of your mouth, your mood, your money, and your mind, life will control you. And not in a gentle, graceful way either. Life will grab the wheel, hit the gas, and run you straight into a ditch of regret. Your mouth can make or break your future. That might sound like an exaggeration, but let me tell you something. Your words are shaping your reality every single day. See, people think success starts in the bank account or with some perfect plan or in a mirror with some flawless look. No, success starts in your mouth. The way you talk about yourself, your situation, your future, that is the starting point of every breakthrough or every breakdown. Let's be real. Some folks wake up every morning and speak more doubt than the world ever throws at them. They say things like, I'm not good enough. I'll never get that promotion. I always mess up. I can't do what they do. And then they wonder why the doors keep closing. You know why? Because you're slamming them shut with your own words. Every time you speak, you're sending a message to your brain, your spirit, and the universe. You're either giving life or you're giving up. Your words are seeds. Plant wisely. You can't expect to harvest joy, success, or growth if you're constantly planting negativity, gossip, fear, and self-doubt. Speak vision, not venom. Speak about where you're going, not just where you've been. Speak about what you're building, not what's breaking. Speak about healing, not just hurting. Don't just talk about your problems. Talk like someone who believes in the solution. And I get it. Life gets hard. You get tired. People hurt you. You make mistakes. But even in the middle of the storm, you've got to train your mouth to say, I'm not done yet. I'm still standing. I still believe something good is coming. That ain't delusion. That's direction. It's focus. It's power. Because you attract what you declare. If all you ever talk about is failure, fear, and frustration, guess what's going to keep knocking on your door? Some of y'all need to fire the inner critic living on the tip of your tongue and hire a new voice. One that speaks faith, not fear. Replace I can't with I'll try. Replace I'm not with I'm becoming. Replace I always mess up with I'm learning every day. That little shift changes everything. Your words create the atmosphere you live in and the world you operate from. When you speak, you set the tone, not just for the room, but for your entire life. Some of you are one bold sentence away from a new chapter. One confession of courage away from a miracle. One I deserve better away from walking into a blessing you've been blocking with your own mouth. You gotta start catching yourself. Start watching what you say in frustration, in anger, in fear. Don't just vent. Don't just react. Be intentional. Be powerful. Because if you keep speaking like a victim, you'll never rise like a victor. Your mood shouldn't be in the driver's seat. Because if your emotions are the ones steering your actions, you better buckle up. There's a crash coming. Life's too unpredictable, too wild, too full of twists and turns for you to hand the keys over to how you feel in the moment. Your mood is temporary, but your decisions can leave permanent marks. And yet so many people make life-changing moves based on a temporary feeling. You angry for 5 minutes and you say something that ruins a 5-year relationship. You get disappointed for a day and you quit on a dream that could have changed your life. That's the power of letting your mood lead. It don't care about the consequences. It just wants control right now. Everybody feels things. You're not weak because you get frustrated, anxious, sad, jealous, or angry. You're human. But being human doesn't mean you hand over the controls to every emotion that shows up. Your emotions are passengers. They can come along for the ride, but they don't get to touch the wheel. You got to be able to say, yeah, I'm mad, but I'm still going to respond with wisdom. Yeah, I'm tired, but I'm still going to show up like a professional. Yeah, I'm scared, but I'm still moving forward. When your mood leads, logic takes a back seat. You stop thinking long term. You stop listening to advice. You stop trusting the process, and instead you start reacting. And reactions built on unstable emotions almost always cause regret. It's like slamming on the gas in a thunderstorm. Sure, it feels good to move fast, but you can't see what you're about to hit. That's how people end up in emotional collisions that take years to recover from. Self-control. Anger, for example, is usually just hurt in disguise. Jealousy is often insecurity wearing a mask. You won't know what's real until you stop letting the surface level mood call the shots. There's power in emotional maturity. There's strength in choosing your response instead of exploding with reaction. People will test you. Life will poke at your triggers. The unexpected will show up on your doorstep uninvited, and your mood will want to jump behind the wheel every time. But the goal is to be the kind of person who stays steady when the storm hits. Not numb, not fake, not robotic, but steady, control, rooted. Because when your peace is stronger than your mood, you stop being a puppet to your feelings and start becoming a force in your own life. Money doesn't change you, it reveals you. It takes whatever is already inside of you and puts a spotlight on it. If you were generous before, money makes you more generous. If you were greedy, money magnifies that greed. If you were humble, money deepens your humility. But if you had something broken, insecure, or prideful hiding deep down, money will pull it right to the surface. Because money doesn't have moral. It's not good or bad. It just follows the person who's holding it. That's why the real work isn't just about how to get it. It's about how to handle it once you do. Hey, people love to say, if I had more money, I'd be happy. Or if I had what they had, I'd do good things too. But the truth is, money doesn't make you a better version of yourself. It just makes you more visible. And if you don't have control over it, it will absolutely control you. It'll start dictating your decisions, altering your relationships, and distracting you from your purpose. One day you're focused on your goals, and the next you're chasing things that shine but don't satisfy. Because you thought more zeros in your bank account would fix the emptiness in your heart, but it never works that way. See, money can buy comfort, but not contentment. It can buy things, but not peace. And if you don't have peace, you'll keep buying and spending and flexing and proving just to feel like you matter. That's how money becomes your master. It whispers to your pride, feeds your fear, and steals your sleep. You start making choices based on pressure, not principle. You stay in toxic environments just for the pay. You betray your own boundaries because the money's too good. And slowly you trade your peace for a paycheck, your purpose for popularity, your real ones for rich ones. That's why discipline with money is about more than budgets and savings. It's about values, about priorities, about asking yourself, who am I becoming in the process of earning this? If the grind is making you forget who you are, then the price is too high, no matter how big the check is. You got to know how to say no when money tries to pull you out of alignment with your character. You got to be able to walk away from what's profitable if it's not purposeful. That's not weakness, that's power. Mastering your mind is your greatest flex. It's not how much money you've got, how many followers you have, or what kind of car you drive. None of that matters if your thoughts are constantly defeating you from the inside. Because you can't win in life if you keep losing in your head. The battle always starts between your ears. Every move you make, every risk you take, every dream you chase is either fueled or frozen by your mindset. That voice in your head, it's either your greatest coach or your worst critic, and you better believe it makes all the difference. See, people want to change their circumstances without changing their thinking. They want a new life but keep holding on to the same old thoughts. You can switch cities, jobs, relationships, or clothes, but if your mind stays stuck, so will your progress. That's why some folks seem to have everything going for them and still feel empty, and others have very little but walk like kings and queens. Because the real battlefield is internal. Master your mind, and life starts to open up in ways you didn't even think were possible. Negative thinking is sneaky. It disguises itself as logic, caution, even realism. But the truth is, if the voice in your head is constantly telling you you're not enough, that you'll fail, that there's no point in trying, then it's lying to you. That voice isn't protecting you, it's paralyzing you. And every time you believe it, you hand over your potential to a false narrative. You settle for less because your thoughts convinced you that's all you deserve. You stop trying because your mind told you what's the point. That's not being smart. That's being stuck. And don't get it twisted. Mastering your mind doesn't mean you never have a negative thought again. It means you learn to recognize when your thoughts aren't serving you and you choose not to entertain them. You don't argue with every doubt. You don't babysit every fear. You don't feed every worry. You develop mental discipline. You learn how to redirect your thoughts toward growth, toward faith, toward solution. You train your mind to find light even when the world feels dark. There's a reason why the most successful people talk about mindset more than anything else. Because talent without belief is wasted. Skill without confidence is silent. And opportunities mean nothing if your mind is too fearful to grab them. You can read all the books, attend all the seminars, have all the connections, but if your self-talk is toxic, you're always going to find a way to sabotage your own success. The strongest thing you can do is learn to be the master of your thoughts, not a slave to them. Because once you start losing in your head, there's nothing outside of you that can hold you back. Discipline over drama, that's the real glow up. In a world that's addicted to noise, chaos, and reacting to every little thing, the person who moves with calm, focused discipline stands out like a lighthouse in a storm. Because the truth is, people don't remember how you acted when everything was good. They remember how you moved when the pressure was on, when things got messy, when emotions were running high and nothing was going your way. That's where your character is measured. That's where your name gets built. Not in the easy seasons, but in the ones that try to break you. Everybody can smile when the sun is out, but can you stay composed when it starts raining? Can you hold your peace when people test you? Can you stay locked in on your goals when everything around you is screaming for your attention? That's where discipline comes in. Discipline ain't about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about making the right move, even when you don't feel like it. It's waking up early when your feelings say, sleep. It's keeping your mouth shut when trauma begs you to speak. It's choosing growth over gossip, focus over frustration, vision over reaction. Drama is loud, undisciplined, and always hungry for attention. It wants to pull you into distractions that waste your energy and steal your time. Drama wants you to clap back, to blow up, to prove a point, to lose your cool, just so you can feel like you're winning a battle that doesn't even matter. But discipline is quiet strength. It's knowing that every reaction doesn't deserve your energy, every argument doesn't deserve your voice, and every provocation doesn't require a response. Discipline is knowing your worth and walking away, because peace is more expensive than pride. Most people live reactive lives. Something happens, they explode. Someone talks, they talk louder. Emotions hit, they spiral. But discipline puts you back in control. It allows you to respond instead of react, to lead instead of follow, to stay steady when others are shaking. Because when you're disciplined, you don't need the situation to be perfect. You just need your mindset to be locked in. And the truth is, people may not always agree with you, but they'll respect how you carry yourself when things get hard. That's what leaves a legacy. Not just what you did, but how you handled yourself doing it. the ability to keep your head when others lose theirs, the ability to keep moving forward, even when the weight of life is heavy. That's what gets remembered. Not the drama, not the show, but the discipline that kept you grounded, focused, and rising when everything around you was trying to pull you down. Because in the end, trauma fades, but discipline builds. Every day you choose discipline, you're shaping a life that speaks louder than any chaos ever could. Every slip of the tongue, every unchecked mood, every careless swipe of the card, these things have ripple effects. And what seems small in the moment can grow into a storm if you don't pay attention. The little things you ignore today will become the big problems tomorrow. People love to talk about how they want a better future, more peace, more purpose, more control. But they forget that it's the tiny habits, the quiet choices, the stuff you do when no one's looking that decides what kind of future you're building. It starts with the tongue. One word said in anger, one joke that cut too deep, one moment of gossip that felt harmless. That's all it takes. Words don't evaporate just because you didn't mean them. They land, they stick, they echo, and once they're out, you can't pull them back in. A quick comment can ruin trust. A sarcastic remark can bruise someone's spirit. It's easy to brush it off and say, I was just venting, or I didn't mean it like that. But the people around you are catching those ripples. They're feeling the waves of your words long after you've moved on. That's why guarding your mouth isn't about being fake. It's about being responsible with your influence. Same goes for your mood. One moment of letting your emotions drive the car can crash relationships, opportunities, or your own self-respect. It's not about pretending you're okay when you're not. It's about refusing to let your worst 5 minutes define your whole day or someone else's. That little blow up at work, that attitude you gave your partner, that passive-aggressive silence with a friend. It adds up. You may think it's just a moment, but for someone else, that moment is a memory. That's how bitterness is born, how distance grows, how connections break down slowly over time. Mood management isn't weakness, it's leadership. And then there's money. Oh, money loves to play the just this once game. Just this once buy it. Just this once skip the budget. Just this once treat yourself, even if the bills are due. But all those just this once moments compound. They create habits. They build a mindset of short-term pleasure over long-term peace. And before you know it, you're stressed, overdrawn, and stuck, asking yourself how it got this bad. But it didn't get that way overnight. It was the little swipes, the ignored limits, the lack of intention. Money management isn't about being rich. It's about being wise. It's about knowing that every dollar has a destination, and every choice either builds your freedom or your frustration. The truth is, life is made in the details. It's the words you speak, the reactions you choose, the money you spend, the thoughts you feed. None of it is random. None of it is without consequence. You are planting seeds with every action, every habit, every decision. And just because the results don't show up today doesn't mean they're not growing in the background. The little things always become the big things if you let them slide too long.